Welcome to today's tutorial. I'm doing the ZF12 speed today, and I wanted to quickly go over the control settings with you. Of course, shifter layout I have set to ZF12 speed. The shifter layout behavior is set to advanced. That allows me to set the shifter fast split, which is set to clutch press, which European trucks do use. Now for the shifter positions, in reverse I have nothing there. That's just because I don't use that reverse slot. If you have something there, you can leave it there. It's not going to hurt anything as long as it's not one of the other gear positions. Gear positions 1 through 6. That's quite simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And shifter toggle 1 and shifter toggle 2, these by default are going to be not there, so you are going to have to set those up. Now you want to set both of these up where you can get to them with one hand on the wheel and one hand on your shifter. That's just going to make your shifts a heck of a lot easier. Now my shifter toggle 1 is actually set to this toggle switch on the side of my shifter knob, and my shifter toggle 2 is set to this toggle switch on the front of my shift knob. Now if you're using just simple key presses, it's going to work pretty much exactly the same way that my toggle switches are, except for that when you do one key press, it will be like me putting my toggle switch in one direction, and then when you do the key press again, it will be like me putting my toggle switch back to the other position. So that's the only difference between a key press and a toggle switch. Now shifter toggles use switch mode. You'll notice I have that checked. Now that is just letting the system know that I'm actually using toggle switches rather than a key press. And that's the only thing that means. And then you'll notice right now I have something in the automatic gearboxes. I was driving a different transmission the other day and I just had it set up that way. It's not going to hurt if you have something there. You can unassign them if you want, which doesn't really matter, whichever way you want to do it. But that's pretty much the control settings. Now we'll go through the shift pattern and I'll show you that. Before I grabbed a load and got out on the road, I wanted to show you how the gear positions work in the ZF12. Now if you've watched some of my other videos or you've driven some of the other European trucks, you'll notice that it is similar. The European trucks, with the exception of the ZF16, tend to use, like for the main gearbox, they use 3 positions and then 1 for the reverse. And if it has any crawler gears or anything, they'll usually use another position for that. So the way the ZF12 works though is if I go all the way over to the left and up, there's going to be no gear there. If I then pull straight back, that'll put me in reverse. So the far left and back is the reverse. You'll notice it is in reverse low. Now if I hit my toggle 1, which you'll hear me refer to as the splitter from here on out, then it's going to put me in reverse high. So it's split between 2 different gears, high and low. So if I then back out and put my splitter back in low, and I go up into the middle position, you'll see it puts me into 1 low. If I then hit my splitter, it's going to put me into 1 high. If I then put my splitter back into low, if I pull straight back in the middle, you'll notice there's absolutely no gear there either. There won't be a gear there. So if I then go back out in the middle, all the way over to the right and up, you'll see it puts me into too low. If I then hit my splitter, it puts me into too high. If I go back out into neutral, put my splitter in low, I'm still all the way over to the right, and then if I pull down, it's going to put me in 3 low. If I then hit my splitter, it's going to put me in 3 high. If I then back out into neutral, put my splitter back into low, and then if I hit my toggle switch 2, which you'll hear me refer to that as the range from here on out. If I put my range into high, and then I go back into what would have been 1, you'll see it puts me into 4 low. If I then hit my splitter, it puts me into 4 high. Back out on neutral, put my splitter back into low, all the way over to the right and up, you'll see it puts me into 5 low. If I then hit my splitter, it puts me into 5 high. If I then go back out on neutral, put my splitter back into low, pull straight back into the right, you'll see it puts me into 6 low. If I then hit my splitter, it puts me into 6 high for my final gear. So that's how the shift pattern actually works. Now what I'll do is I'll grab a load and we'll get out on the road, and I'll show you how that actually runs rather than just seeing it sitting here. Alright, I've actually grabbed a load and driven out onto the highway. The reason I'm drove out on the highway is just it's a lot easier to show you the full range of gears without having to worry about stoplights and such. So the first time I run through this, I'll actually run through every single gear, and then after that I'll show you how I would actually drive it, skipping gears. So we're going to start out with our range in low and our splitter in low. I'm going to go up into the middle into 1 low here. Release our parking brake. Go ahead and clutch out and get going. Now I'm going to hit my splitter into high. Now you'll notice I went ahead and hit that because when we set up that advanced for the fast split, you can actually pre-select your splits, and then it's not going to do anything until now I'm going to clutch in and it's going to put me into 1 high. So I'm going to put my splitter into low, clutch in, over into 2 low. Then I'm going to put my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 2 high. Put my splitter into low, clutch in, pull straight back into 3 low. Put my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 3 high. Now I'm going to put my range into high, put my splitter into low, clutch in, go over into the middle into 4 low. Now I'm going to hit my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 4 high. I'm going to hit my splitter into low, clutch in, over into 5 low. I'm going to hit my splitter into high. And we've hit a little hill here, so we're going to have to climb up it a minute here. Clutch in, putting me into 5 high. Now normally you wouldn't shift on a hill like this, but for training purposes I'm just showing you the gear range. So we're going to go ahead and shift on a hill. So I'm going to put my splitter into low, clutch in, pull straight back into 6 low, put my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 6 high, my final gear. Now that's how you would run it from bottom to top. Now I'll stop down here and show you how I would actually run that rather than running through every single gear. So I'm going to put my range into low and my splitter into low. And I am going to start out in one low because I am starting out on a hill, and I am pulling quite a bit of weight. But you'll notice when I go through these lower gears that I'm not actually going to go and split them into high. I'm just going to keep them on low pretty much through the whole bottom range and some of the high range too. And then once I get in the high range, I'll actually probably start splitting my gears. It depends on road conditions, it depends on the weight you're pulling and everything else. So we're going to go ahead and start out in one low here. Clutch out and get going. I'm just going to clutch in over into 2 low. Clutch in, pull back into 3 low. Clutch in, range into high, up into 4 low. Clutch in, over into 5 low. I'm going to hit my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 5 high, and try not to drive off the road here. I'm going to hit my splitter into low, clutch in, pull back into 6 low. And crest this hill here. Hit my splitter into high, clutch in, putting me into 6 high, my final gear. So there's kind of how I would actually run through the gears. And so that's pretty much a ZF12 transmission. I hope it helped out, and hope it gives you a pretty good grasp on ZF12 transmission. Happy trucking.